The two-day debate has covered a wide range of issues. Several speakers also welcomed the deployment of the South African National Defence Force to the Western Cape, Gauteng, and the Eastern Cape to assist police to fight crime. In a wide-ranging debate, MPs took up issues that are close to their constituencies, starting with efficiencies that will be provided by the establishment of a state property company.
At the same time, the state spends up to 6 billion rand every year leasing private buildings. We own prime property that stands vacant, yet we pay rent for plush offices. We hold strategic land parcels in the metros while people live in informal settlements. We sit on an enormous asset value base, yet we don't generate any revenue to fund asset maintenance. These contradictions end today.
Mr. Ramaphosa, your government simply does not know what to do with the crime anymore, sir. The extortion racket is now a parallel government running this country, dictating who get what service and when. As we speak now, a public clinic in town to Khayelitsha was forced to close because your government is unable to provide protection to nurses, security guards, who are threatened by thugs who want protection fees.
Last year, we set an ambitious target through the Banapele Miss Registration Drive to register 10,000 ECD centers by December. We reached that target by September and closed the year with 13,000 registered centers. What this means, honorable members, is that over 1.3 million children have access to good nutrition, foundational learning, and safe places. We've set aside 10 billion rand over the next 3 years to support ECD, increasing the subsidy to 24 rand a day. That means in 2025 alone, we added 150,000 children to gain access to the subsidy.
We commend the President for personally taking leadership of the National Water Crisis Committee. The estimated 400 billion required to address this crisis is substantial.
South Africa's nuclear sector remains a strategic national asset, supporting energy security, advanced science, healthcare, skills development, and industrial capacity.
The youth of South Africa are done begging for a place in an economy that was built on our exclusion. We were told to be patient, and we've been told to wait our turn, but you cannot feed a generation with patience. And so here is the demand from us as young people. Treat youth unemployment like a national emergency, not with speeches, but with state power, with a wartime approach that mobilizes every single department, every single public entity, municipality, and every private company in this country, with targets, timelines, and consequences.
Because the law doesn't fully account for pre-1913 colonial theft, many communities remained landless in the very places where their ancestors' rock art still marks the caves. Then there is the struggle for legal recognition. While the 96 Constitution protects indigenous languages, the 11 official languages initially recognized were all Bantu or European. Ku and Sa languages like the Nu or Kukuhuap were relegated to a subclause.
We have some out-of-control crime in our country, and I support you in the focus. I support you in the deployment of the military. But what I do say is that cannot just be a band-aid. I met with the acting minister of police last week to say we must learn the lessons of 2019. We had an 8-month deployment of the military in 2019, and we didn't get the traction of the force multiplier that we should have.
Unemployment has become structure. Poverty has become inheritance of the black child. Inequality has become normalized. As MK Party, we say free, decolonized higher education must be a non-negotiable. It is a non-negotiable right. Not a slogan of every recycled February SONA. You cannot speak of economic reform while education remains commodified. We further say, introduce structural national conscription, not necessarily for militarization, but for the nation building.
No country can function if its laws are optional. And anyone who comes to this country legally must be prepared to abide by the law, or they will be shipped out.
The Passenger Rail Agency has restored nearly 37 out of 40 priority corridors and has put 300 South African manufactured trains to carry 106 million passenger journeys this year on the Prasa network.
BEE must continue to empower and to bring into the economy the majority of the marginalized and the excluded. Therefore, BEE is a constitutional imperative. It cannot be abandoned at the altar of political expediency. The GNU does not mean the bearing of BEE. Neither does the GNU supersede the Constitution, because black economic empowerment, affirmative action, is a constitutional imperative. This must sink in even to the Democratic Alliance. We are in alliance to transform this country in line with the Constitution.
The debate was punctuated by episodes of disruptions and prolonged points of order. Meanwhile, President Ramaphosa will respond to the SONA debate on Thursday. Fulelani Philip, SABC News, Parliament.